fun thing about Danny DeVito's character is that he's a visionary, sort of Christopher Columbus of tabloid journalism.
Circulation 36,000 and climbing. There's no telling where this is going to go. Radio, television. Once you whet the public's appetite for the truth, the sky's the limit. He has no qualms or any kind of moral feelings about, luring a couple of, stars who are under contract at Metro into some kind of compromising situation and then, photographing it and sticking it on the front of his magazine.
And behind the camera, I was able to put together an unbelievable group of collaborators, starting with Dante Spinotti, a cameraman whose work I'd known and admired for years. My number one directive to my collaborators was, let's push the set dressing and so forth into the background so that the characters and their emotions are in the foreground. And Dante, of course, immediately got what I was talking about, and he suggested a whole lighting style, a kind of naturalistic look where the audience would understand where the light was coming from in every scene, and it would be very different than what one thinks of as classic film noir, that highly stylized lighting with the long dark shadows. Janine Opelwall is an extraordinary production designer. We had 45 locations. My goal was to find locations that would not call attention to themselves as period locations. We wanted the movie to feel ordinary, casual in its period look. Our costume designer, Ruth Myers, created high style in the grand Hollywood tradition to assist Lynn Bracken in the creation of her fantasies. For the other characters, she was true to the period, but again, with the accent on the modern, on that which would feel contemporary. With close to 80 speaking parts and numerous featured extras, her job was enormous. I love music, and I love music in movies. With LA Confidental, I picked a lot of the songs back when Brian and I were writing the script, and most of them before we started shooting, which allowed me actually to play them on the set when we were shooting a given scene. For instance, the scene where Kevin Spacey's in the frolic room sitting at the bar. I had Dean Martin on the jukebox that night, and as Kevin looks in the mirror and he's feeling remorseful about what he's done and regretful about what he's become, you hear Dean Martin singing, "Smile, smile, smile." Then, of course, I needed underscoring to play the emotion, to play the action, and I brought in Jerry Goldsmith, with whom I had worked on The River Wild. It was a unique challenge for Jerry because I already had all the songs in the picture, and what Jerry needed to do was not only create a score, but do it in such a way that it wouldn't feel like the songs and the score were in two different pictures. The motif that was consistent in the songs was the trumpet of Chet Baker in several tracks and Bobby Hackett on a couple of others. So Jerry took the trumpet and used it throughout the score to create a musical whole. When Peter Honess, my patient, creative, diligent editor, and I had a first cut of the movie, and we took it out to show it to Arnon and David Walper and Michael Nathanson and David Madelon and so forth, we were nervous in the way that one always is at that time.
I'm sitting watching this movie, and I'm pinching myself.
What you really learn from a first screening is not anything constructive, but you learn how the emotional state is going to be for the next few months. You know, whether you're going to be kind of fighting while you're trying to do what you do, or whether you're going to be feeling good while you try to do what you do.
But I walked out of the screening room, and I'm seeing all these guys with these notes, and I came out and said, guys, I don't have any notes before anybody opens their mouth. This is a masterpiece. This is our greatest movie ever. I mean, I have not seen a better movie since we've started this company.
His enthusiasm was so obvious and contagious that I don't know whether everybody else felt that way or not, but they weren't about to be the one to throw cold water on the spirit.
I think that the theme of the movie is the word facade, and I think the theme of life, one of the many themes of life, is facade. I think we all have facades. I think they're important, but then I think it's wonderful to have someone you can come down and throw that facade to the wind and just be yourself.
Ultimately, it's a story about Los Angeles, and it's a story about what was at the heart of a kind of boom in Los Angeles, of a building and promise of the golden land. And as, of course, things turn out, it's always a little different than it looks.
Here was a compatible vision, unique on its own terms, of a book that I wrote, characters and a milieu that I created. They assumed a brilliant alternative life, and I was flabbergasted and startled by the experience.
I think what I learned from you, which I had to some extent, because I think you have to have it working in show business, but which I really didn't realize the power of, was just the tenacity of just believing in something. Like you said, no one really believes in a good movie except for the people making it.
LA Confidential already seen 7 times. For my own, I just love the movie, so.
The miracle of LA Confidential is not only was I able to make this labor of love, but because Arnon bought into my dream to the degree that he did, and that he was prepared to roll the dice with me to the degree that he was, I was able to make it under the best circumstances I've ever worked.
You heard it here first. Off the record, on the QT, and very hush, hush.
Yeah, it looks like it's an awesome for 1997. That was awesome, so... Yeah, that one was awesome, so... Yes, that one was awesome, so... Awesome from 1997. Yeah, that one was awesome. That was a good one, so yeah.